Okay, I have another take on the cipher and the technical aspect versus the non-technical aspect. And I'll admit, initially, I thought there were two different things, a technical one and a non-technical one. And that they were two distinct hints or two distinct clues, or one's a hint and one's a container, and that they're independent of each other. But part of the solve for the cipher also leads me to believe that there's only one. There's not two different things. Because if you read what he says there's two elements at play. He says that repeatedly, 4 or 5 times across interviews, Q&As, etc. Two elements at play. And then he says one, arguably, could require some technical, knowledge. Okay, and he says that repeatedly. Could require some technical knowledge. You might have to dig a little deep. You might have to do multiplication or a simple addition, but if you can add two numbers together, you can solve it. And then he does not say the other one. He does not. He says the other element could require some technical knowledge. So he says the other element. He does not say the other cipher, the other clue, the other hint. He says the other element could require some technical knowledge. And for me, that is how I solved the cipher, in my opinion, is that I was obsessed with the number 50, which is ultimately how I started looking up atomic numbers. And so also just 10, mark 10. So 10 and the atomic number of 50, I think there are a lot of kind of Easter eggs that get me to that, but that's not enough. So from there, you have to lean into more technical knowledge, which would be investigating the composition of things, determining what goes with tin to make something that you could add two numbers together to be significant, which would then be discovering that copper and tin creates bronze, and then addition, taking 50 and 29 and realizing that's 79, which is AU, which is gold. And then additionally, looking up the composition of what a container would be that contains tin and bronze. And those options, mixed with things that he also mentions in the book itself, I honestly could not come up with anything that worked other than Bell. And then after the fact, I would say that I got reassurance just understanding that there's a book called Fenn's Bells, that Forrest Fenn had an affinity for bells, and then going back through Justin's write-up and saying that it's a nod to something. I obviously think it's a nod to Forrest Fenn, and I don't think that there's two distinct clues. I think there's one, and there's two elements to solving the one. That's what I think. Could be wrong, could be right, but that's what I think. Okay, thanks, bye.